What's up guys, welcome back to another Marvel Contest of Champions video, and today I will be doing a video that a lot of my Alliance members have been waiting on, especially Rail Thunder. So I'll be kind of doing a small guide on how to take the Jean Grey Node 50 boss in Alliance War. This is season 62 as we speak. Jean Grey, of course, is a very common placement on the boss island, and I've been taking that fight since last season, and I've taken it quite a bit, so I have a lot of experience with it. And I have a very clear-cut rotation you can use with Maker. Not really, there isn't really a rotation with Maker, but anyway. So there we go. I could say it's more of a strategy, not a rotation. So here are the nodes for node 50, which is essentially the only thing you really have to worry about is the first node, which is healthy disposition. So essentially Jean will cycle in between heal block, slow, and stun immunity, and you have to really watch out for the stun immunity on the node, because that of course is very important. Because for one, if you try to go for your evade when she's stun immune, she's going to punish you and deal quite a bit of damage to you. And it's kind of difficult to watch out for it because there's going to be a lot of things going on. Of course, the reason why I think Maker is the best option for this fight is because he can definitely not care about a lot of things in Jean's kit. I could say everything in Jean's kit. So for example, future Ant-Man has to worry about reverse controls and Neuroshock. But he doesn't really have to worry about healthy disposition node because he doesn't really want to keep parrying Jean too much. Because it's not a part of his main kit, it's not a part of his main rotation. But Maker doesn't have to worry about reverse controls or Neuroshock, but he has to worry about healthy disposition. Of course, we have the Taunt node 2, which obviously lowers our damage by 40%. It's a pretty beefy taunt, but as long as you're playing right and as long as you have the tactic up, you're going to be reducing the duration of the taunt by quite a bit. So yeah, that's the first part, a little bit showcase of the nodes. Obviously, for this fight, you're going to have to use Suicides. And this is the mastery that I use. Of course, if you want to go, this is the normal mastery setup when it comes to Suicides. So this is how it looks like normally. I do not have any points in color tech, but because it doesn't really matter, because the way we're going to be doing this fight is quite specific. So the reason why Maker is so good for this, also consider that I'm using a rank 4 SIG 200. Of course, I have him the cruelty start focus on attack. Do not really worry about his SIG. He doesn't really need his SIGs. He kind of doesn't need them at all. It's just a nice safety net to have. The only thing he kind of needs is the rank 4. Because rank 3 Maker will still be able to solo this pretty efficiently, but rank 4 just absolutely nukes it, which is very incredible. Obviously, this is why I love Maker. When it comes to relics, I have obviously the Prowler relic. I have a rank 2 7-star, but I just took it up, so I've been using a rank 1 Prowler relic for most of the time doing the boss. So yeah, Prowler relic for the damage, of course. Now when it comes to pre-fights, because unfortunately we're gonna be needing some pre-fights. So Maker has this thing in his kit which is called, where is this? I'm gonna have to find it really quickly. Give me a second. It is right here. So this is this power reroute passive. So this is the entire reason why Maker shuts down Jean. So what happens here is every single time your opponent will go over the mine, he's gonna gain a suppression debuff, which obviously suppression lowers base combat power rate. And essentially what happens, right? For every single one of those suppressions, and in general, for how much you're reducing her combat power rate in general, she's gonna gain way less power, and you're actually going to steal the power you're lowering. The combat power rate you're lowering, you're gonna be stealing it. back. So that's incredible. That's the reason, because you're gonna see in some of my gameplay, after I shoot my SP3, which is gonna overcharge the mine, which means it's gonna be continuously going over the mine, which means he's gonna have like six or like seven suppressions on her at times, and that is essentially going to give her so little power. You're gonna be doing like 2 combos and you're gonna be at your SP3 from like 0 power. It's gonna be pretty incredible. And essentially this is gonna come in handy because we are going to be using Mr. Fantastic. Now, Mr. Fantastic has 2 things that are really useful. Of course, his pre-fights, he has the suppression pre-fight, which of course will work really well with what we're trying to do, like I already mentioned. With the power reroute, we're essentially going to be abusing that. That's the only really important pre-fight, to be honest. Again, looking into the Maker, he has a synergy with Mr. Fantastic that essentially gives Mr. Fantastic and him 30% base attack rating for every Maker or Mr. Fantastic on the team. Now, of course, I'm not a madman, so I've never went in with like double Mr. Fantastic, which is pretty crazy, because like realistically, I'm gonna be using Maker for every fight, which would be nice. It would be cool to see how well Maker could do with double of this synergy, which means he would get 60% base attack rating. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, each burst is gonna hit for like 120,000 damage. It's so insane, a full synergy team of this. But of course we can't do it in Alliance War. So he has a very powerful synergy. Of course, another person we're gonna need the pre-fights of is War Machine. This is extremely important since we are using the Suicide Masteries. War Machine has, of course, the support pre-fight, which will obviously cleanse the first 2 debuffs we get on us, which of course is going to be the poison and the bleed debuff from Double Edge, which is extremely important because in general, Maker is pretty squishy, and that's not very good, because if he's very squishy and we're using Suicide Mastery, so already our defense is kind of hindered. So you're gonna be needing to play very carefully, because like if you take a heavy into the face, it's gonna do so much damage. If you take a special even, it's gonna do a lot of damage, and that support essentially doesn't let us tick down slowly from the Double Edge Mastery, from the poison. It's just really nice to have, so nice to have. And then, of course, we can also use White Magneto on the team for the pre-fight, but it's not that important since Maker is neither hero or metal, so he's gonna get a cool 50% base attack rating. So anyway, that is it when it comes to the preparation for the fight. Now we're gonna go into the gameplay. Okay, so here we go. This is my best Gene fight I've ever done. This is a minute and 50-second cook. As you can see, we're fully boosted, Suicide Masteries, every pre-fight I pre-mentioned is on, and we're also utilizing the Mr. Fantastic synergy I told you guys before. So yeah, here, when it comes to Grey Boosts, I suggest you use a Power Start 1, which is gonna help you just get your mind down way faster and stuff like that. But here I use an Invul. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. So at the start, because Gene is going to be stun immune, as you guys can see, you want to bait heavies. So as you guys can see, I'm going to be baiting heavies. That's always a good thing, because a lot of players just instantly go for the stun evade because they know he has it. But just keep in mind, at the start, she's going to be stun immune, so you need to bait it heavy. Now, I am throwing my SP1 into her block. You can just throw it normally. The only reason I threw it into the block is because sometimes they react faster and charge at you way faster. So here you want to get some intercepts, and like I said, you want to take a look at the bottom of the screen, because that's where you're gonna see if she's stun immune or not. So there, she's not stun immune. I use my evade. As you can see, she's already taking quite a lot. We're trying to build our power all the way to our SP3 by just doing heavies and just doing a lot of heavies. So, as you guys can see, the fight is already going pretty smoothly. We get a light intercept right there, and now we use our SP3. Now, we're going to skip this, and now the thing is, there she was stun immune, but as you can see, I did evade. You want to get some space, and essentially, this is where the fight concludes. So, as I told you guys, she has 6 suppressions on her right now. As you guys can notice, she's barely gaining any power at all, and we're getting so much, and we're just knocking her over the mind, just punishing heavy after heavy. Like I said, it's a mistake. Again, there's so many things happening. Just have to watch out for that stun immunity. There, I go for another heavy and then go for my second SP3. Usually takes 2 SP3s at 3 if you're at the rank 3 maker. And now we're just going to be doing this. When she's over the mine, I usually either use my parry or just try and intercept her as much as possible if she's stun immune. But as you guys can see, after the second SP3, she got absolutely toasted. So that is when it comes to gameplay. I hope this tutorial helped you guys, and see ya.